Hello, everyone. Good evening or morning, wherever you are. Not sure where everyone's calling from, but Saturday, 4th of Jan. I think this is live stream number 6. First one since I have my new 100K subscribers award. I can't really see that in the thing, but thank you, everyone that helps me get this. This is really, really incredible to get, and yeah, for all the support you guys have shown me, I'm really appreciative. So thank you very much. We'll get straight into this. You will notice with the information on screen today, which is just about kind of here. I'm still going to go for ridiculously long amounts of time to make sure everyone's question is answered as I normally do. But on YouTube, it's only going to be an hour, and then I'm going to carry on my school, which is here, if I can get my finger lined up. It's free. There's a link in the description below. So if you press that, you'll be taken to the free school group. And at the top, there's a little button that says calendar. And then there's a link to get it started. It will be on Google Meet, but it's completely free. You don't have to get your credit card out or anything like that. You just press the button and then you're in. So here an hour, and then I'll carry on there for as long as we need. And I'm doing that because if people are in school, I can make posts about questions. And if someone's asking an interesting question, I can then tag them in the post where I give a load of information, maybe some links and things like that, and give a lot more information in the answer, which I would prefer to do. So please remember that. We'll be here for an hour, and then I think I've made a comment actually. There, you can see it there. And then we'll go into the school group afterwards, which again, it is free. Do not want any money. You just press the button and you're taken there straight away. So let's get straight into the questions. I don't know what order they've come in my software, if it's the right order they've been put in, but we'll get going anyway. So first question here from Garold Newbold. I'm guessing that's short for Gary Newbold, or another way of saying Gary. Is dark chocolate good for you? And if so, is it okay if it's alkalized? I mean, regarding whether something is good for you or not, like you have to take everything into a context. So a friend of mine asked me recently, is milk healthy? Well, if you are on a full carnivore diet and you're just eating, let's say you're on a lion diet, beef, water, and salt, milk isn't really going to do anything for you, because so it's not really going to be healthy or unhealthy. It's just going to be by the by. If you are having a standard Western diet with a load of McDonald's and things, then that same thing, that milk, is probably not going to be great for you, and extra sugar. So in your case, it depends on your diet whether chocolate is good for you. It's relative to everything else that's in your diet. I mean, I'm sure it's better in some way than like a slab of dairy milk or something like that, but there's better things out there. So it's relative, and I'm sure it's better than something, but it's probably also worse than something as well. And it's hard to say whether it's good or bad for you without knowing anything about you individually, unfortunately. But normally I have mouse issues. Like people watching about the live streams and they say every 2 minutes apps gets a mouse issue. Yes, I do get a mouse issue. I don't know why. Maybe I need to buy a new mouse, but it's working okay so far today. So Mark says, does specific green tea serum help enhance red light therapy results? No, absolutely not. Red light therapy does not depend on green tea being on the skin, or any kind of serum being on the skin. The light needs to hit your skin, to state the obvious for a second. So anything that prevents it hitting your skin is going to be reducing the efficacy of the treatment. So you want clean, dry skin. So all the radiation can go into your skin without anything hindering it. Nikki, I saw him on the plane during my flight to Dubai. He's more attractive in real life with great skin. Well, thank you, whoever you are. I don't remember that. It's happened a couple of times, but yeah, thank you very much. I'll take that compliment. Also, for those of you who comment on here or on Instagram or something, some sarcastic comment about, oh, he's got a filter on his videos, this comment will prove to you that I don't have a filter on. That's just my skin, right? This person's clearly seen me in real life, and she knows it's not a filter. So F you to all the people that keep banging on about random filters in videos when there are none. So thank you very much. Tony. Oh, hang on. We've got a super chat here. I'm going to go through super chats before others, just so you all know. Thoughts on taking betaine hydrochloride and bile supplement to improve digestion? They can help if you've got an issue with not producing enough stomach acid, for instance. So if you don't produce enough stomach acid, I know some people advocate betaine hydrochloride to replace that. That's one thing you can look at. Bile supplement, yeah, I think you can get like ox bile if you've got a problem producing your own because of some issue. I don't know what. So they are individual specific. I wouldn't take them by default. If there's a specific digestion issue that requires bile replacement because you don't have bile, then I think having a bile replacement makes perfect sense. Betaine hydrochloride, if there's an issue with the stomach acid and you need a stomach acid supplement, fine. That's absolutely okay to do, and you can go ahead with that. I hope that answers the question. And yeah, if you do a super chat, I'll get to your question next. Everyone else, sit tight if you can. And you know, there's a lot of comments, as you know. I mean, last stream went for about 6 hours. When I finish here in 1 hour, the questions aren't going to save. So when I finish in 1 hour and I go to the school live stream, which is in the link in the description, you can read it on the screen here. You'll need to retype your question in there because it won't save everything. But that will again go for as long as you guys have questions. There's no time limit on it. I'm only doing an hour on here and then carrying on somewhere else. Again, free, not asking for any money, completely free. Let's have a look at Tony's question here. So he says, oh, I got another super chat. 1 second. How can I know if I've got acid and or bile issues? That's when you do some kind of in-person testing. That's not something I can advise on over YouTube, unfortunately. You need to go and see someone to get checked out. It's as simple as that. There's nothing I can do to diagnose over here, unfortunately. Tony, would dermarolling help with stretch marks? It theoretically can, but it also depends. I mean, there's different types of stretch marks. You know, some are flat, some are colored, some are indented into the skin. Some are just lighter, some are darker, some are enormous, some are tiny. I suspect some stretch marks may have some benefit in basically trying to recreate that dermo-epidermal junction, which is where the stretch mark problem is. For me, I actually use cicost for stretch marks because it sort of recreates that dermo-epidermal junction. And the photos are incredible for that. So without seeing the stretch mark specifically, I can't give a definitive answer, but it may be possible in some cases to get some level of improvement, depending on the individual. Again, let's have a look. If someone's got more than one question in a row, by the way, just so it's fair to everyone else, I'm just going to do one, and then we'll go on to the next person. What warm-up cool-down protocols do you recommend in your exercise programming guide? I mean, if you want to do a warm-up, typically it's the same exercise. Let's say you're going to warm up in, I don't know, leg press or something. The warm-up would be a leg press, but very, very low weight, and just making sure you've got your full range of motion. And that's pretty much it. I don't do anything else apart from that. I don't recommend people do anything else apart from that. Definitely not cardio. Cool down, I personally don't really do anything. I think if you're used to training, you'll be absolutely fine. I've never really done a cool down. I've been absolutely fine. A lot of my professional athletes don't do cool downs all the time. They're fine. Even general patients I work with who have medical conditions, I don't program in a cool down, and they're absolutely fine. That's not an issue. Let me get to this. Okay. Here we go. What do you usually recommend to patients, squalene oil or tallow? There's no, one's not better than the other. It's whatever the patient prefers, I would say. Do you eat mainly steak? What about ground beef? I do eat mainly steak. Got no problem with ground beef. I just like steak. That's it. It's just a personal preference thing. That's just what I like. But you can do whatever. There's no requirement to absolutely have one over the other at all. Let's have a look. What are your thoughts on Theage for skin tightening? I think it's pretty crap, to be honest. For those that don't know, Theage is a radio frequency device. So you've got like a handpiece. I don't have anything to look. So this is a handpiece. You basically just run it over the skin, and it puts heat into the skin, or radio frequency, I should say, into the skin. And that is going to try and sort of, in layman's terms, it's going to try and overheat or boil or whatever you want to call the skin, so it dies off. You get this chunk of coagulation. The body takes it away and tries to replace it with new tissue. I don't think it's very good. It's pretty outdated. It's pretty old. There's much better things on the market right now. Marion says, will eating carnivore make my freckles go away or just stop new ones? It depends on how you react to the sun a lot of the time, because freckles typically are related to receiving UV radiation. I don't know if it will stop new ones, but I think if you go carnivore, you'll have a better chance of having better quality skin overall, and lower inflammation in the skin, I would say, from my clinical experience. I can't believe how much better my skin is looking already. My friends have even commented. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty common. Pretty much every patient I work with, they say things like that. And it's not difficult, you know. I'm not trying to sell any... What is that? I've got a loose hair on my thing. There we go. I'm not trying to sell any drugs to my patients, you know. I want them to get better, healthier. I want to live as long as possible. I want them to look good. And ideally, you know, I want them to spend either nothing or as little as possible. And yeah, carnivore's not expensive. If you buy in bulk, if you just speak to your butcher, it's actually cheaper if you do it properly. And yet you get results like this without having any extra skincare or anything like that. So thanks for sharing that, Marion. And I'm glad it's working out for you. What are your thoughts on colostrum? I don't think it's needed. You know, if you eat the right stuff, you're going to grow normally anyway. Colostrum, if you don't know, it's like this supplement that you can get. You know, I think it's typically in like powder form. They say it's full of growth factors and things like that. But you know what? If your body needs growth factors, or your body can do with growth factors, it's going to make it itself. It's not a problem. So I don't think we need colostrum. I think it's not needed. A good diet is all you need for that, to be honest. Mark says, what do you mean don't use cleanser, just water instead? Typically, yeah. If you need if water won't get off what you're trying to wash off, then obviously go to a cleanser. That's fine. Like if you've got makeup on, use a cleanser if water's not enough. How do we get off sunscreen? Yeah, there we go. So if you can't get it off with water, then obviously go with a cleanser. That's absolutely fine. Do what you need to. Adam, what exactly can cicost do for the under eye area? I mean, everything, to be honest. I've seen dark circles disappear. I've seen wrinkles disappear, skin thickness increase. I've seen it be very preventive for the future. I've seen the texture improve. I've seen the tightness improve. I've seen the elasticity of the skin improve very quickly. Everything that you need it to do, it does pretty much. But the problem with it is it's the most technique sensitive thing I've ever seen in terms of products on the market. And especially around the eyes. It's the most technique sensitive area and using probably the most technique sensitive product. So, you know, I don't know many people that are able to do it around the eye and actually get good results, unfortunately. I know a few in London. I know in Aberdeen, there's a clinic, NY Skin Clinic. Elaine Wood works there. There's a few others dotted around I can't think of off the top of my head. That, you know, you've got to pick the right clinic. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as just getting the treatment because it's very technique sensitive. David, David, how you doing, friend? It's been a while. How long does the enzyme stay in the skin hyaluronidase, therefore keep breaking the HA and the natural HA precautions? It's a good question. I mean, it's going to be different for everyone. Typically, it's not going to last that long. When you inject hyaluronidase, most of it's done probably that day. You know, you're not really going to get much more activity after that. And I'm sure anyone who's experienced in aesthetics is probably going to say something not too dissimilar. I use it often? Yeah, semi-regularly, because I get a lot of people who are unhappy with the way fillers have aged in their face and they want me to get rid of it. And we do that. Or we have people, you know, who just aren't getting on with their filler. Their body's reacting. We can use Dissolver to get rid of that. Typically, we'll do it slowly. You know, if a patient has the budget, I will ask them to dissolve bit by bit by bit in low concentration of hyaluronidase. If you're interested, I'd probably use around, say, 100 units per mil of the dissolver, which is pretty low, really quite low. But you know, I just get the nicest result. I get the least destructive results, shall we say, if I do it like that. Has the school community started? Yep, the link is in the description. And we're 15 minutes in here. In 45 minutes, this live stream is going to carry on the school. No time restriction for as long as it takes to get everyone's answers given to them. Carol, greetings from Poland. Greetings from London, Carol. Thank you for being here. Victor, good to see you again. Yes, thank you very much. I think he's saying congrats for this. I can't help but get it out. I'm really happy about it. Hopefully I'll get the gold one with 1 million subscribers in not too long. Let's see how long it takes. Simeon, here's a nice question. Opinion on fat transfer compared to fillers in terms of longevity. Yeah, I mean, 50 to 70% of the fat may stay after a few years, and that's right. Exact percentage, it depends on the person, the technique used, all those sorts of things. But yeah, you'll probably lose about 30% of the fat, I think, is a commonly accepted figure. It's not something I really do, to be honest, because I think fillers are better in a lot of aspects. If you need a huge amount of volume, it probably makes sense to do fat transfer at that point. If you're talking, you know, a tip like 5 mil, 10 mil, and you can do that in filler, you know, slowly over time. That's not a problem. But huge amounts of mil, like 20, 30 mil, I'd probably go fat transfer, and that's probably the only time I think is needed, to be honest. In terms of longevity, I mean, fillers I think will last longer, but the problem you got is fillers can expand over time as well. Fat transfer, I don't think fat will expand over time, but you'll do the opposite. You'll probably lose it. But it's more invasive as well with the fat, because you have to harvest the fat from somewhere else, like the back, for instance. So there's always a plus and a minus. I would say in most cases, you're probably looking at fillers being the best option, but it is very individual and it depends on the person. Got a super chat here. Thank you very much to whoever this is. Bleevrun. I have no idea how to pronounce that. So apologies if I said that wrong. But using Style Pro Mask, NAD capsules, Dermaroller, and testosterone creams. Supplements. Wow, this guy is really following my protocol here. Supplements you would recommend to just Squalene or Trace Minerals, and if so, can you recommend a quality company in the USA? I don't really recommend any supplements in general, to be honest, unless there's some specific individual need for that individual. If you're eating, you know, enough fatty meat with nothing else, I don't think really you need many supplements most of the time. If you're gonna take an oil supplement, the thing you got to look out for is the oil viable by the time it gets to you? A lot of these omega supplements are rancid by the time you get them. That's why they have this odd taste. You get these massive fishy burps. It's just not good by the time you're taking it. I suspect one of the best omega supplements is called Omega by Jim, J-Y-M. I have no affiliate with the link for the company or connection to the company at all. They don't even know I'm saying it, but I suspect that's probably going to be one of the best you can look at. And probably NutraBio, all one word, Nutrabio. That's for me, they're probably the two of the cleanest manufacturers in there for different things. If you have to take it for some reason, you know, that's something you can look at, but you don't need it. You absolutely don't need it. Even trace minerals. If you're eating enough of the meat, you're absolutely fine, and with enough salt, that is, you should be good. So, excuse me, it's been a long day. So you can also look at Celtic sea salt to get all your minerals as well. That's going to help. And with those, I don't think you need to look at supplements, to be honest. Noel, congrats on your 10K. I think it means 100K and YouTube. Thank you very much. Maria says congratulations as well. Thanks, Maria. Happy New Year's and congratulations on reaching 108K. Yes, I'm on 108K now. I can scarcely believe it. Yeah, it's weird. I had no idea I would get that. I mean, I started last year on 2,000 something, and I finished it on 107,000, I think. So yeah, incredible. Thank you very much. Let's carry on. If you prescribe testosterone propionate, is it possible to get it in Europe and where and anywhere? Yeah, I mean, most countries in the world can. In fact, pretty much, I'm sure every country is going to be okay. Maybe not North Korea, but I'm sure it's not that difficult to get compounding and all those kind of services wherever you are. So not a problem. Which routine and behavior can help to grow thicker skin? It's a massive question. It really, really depends on you as an individual, to be honest. It's too big an answer to give, unfortunately, over YouTube, because it depends on you. Sorry about that. King Von, what is your view on at-home chemical peels? See, by the way, if you could put Q before the question, let me know, because it doesn't always come up on here. I think I've got a filter on mine, because I'm using software to stream. And you ideally need to put Q at the beginning for me to actually kind of get it and see it and read it out. King Von says, what's your view on at-home chemical peels? It's a tool in your arsenal, and you've got to ask, do I need to use this tool right now? I don't think anything of them, really. If it's required in some situation, fine. But I wouldn't do it by default. There's just, a chemical peel at the end of the day is going to take stuff off your skin. If you want good quality skin, part of that involves making it nice and thick. So if you're doing things to constantly thin it, you're not going to achieve that, to be honest. Got a super chat or super like, whatever that is, from Jen. Thank you very much, Jen. Appreciate that. There we go. Thought I lost my mouse again there, but it's back. Is it harmful if I go to sleep late, even if I have enough sleep throughout the day and I don't feel tired? I work night shift. I mean, it depends how late, how early, how much sleep, all that kind of stuff. Are you getting sunshine? What are your symptoms when you wake up? Do you feel refreshed? Do you feel tired? Blah, blah, blah. These are the things that will answer that question. Without any of that information, it's impossible to say, but those are the questions you should ask yourself to figure out what the answer is, in my opinion, anyway. Mark, I can't afford in-office treatments. Many people can't. Starting at home, needling, LED, peels. Will I ever need in-office stuff? Impossible to say, my friend. It depends, what your skin looks like. What's your medical history? How do you react to those things? How are you doing them? What's your technique? You may need it. You may not. It's it's literally that vague, because I don't have enough information. But a lot of people will still want in-office treatments. But even if you can't, you can still get great results at home. You just got to do things in the right way. If you wanted to have a consultation with someone, myself or someone else, you can try and come up with a protocol or routine for yourself. Not a problem. Super chat here. Let's get this up. I've lost where I am in this chat now. There we go. From Slinky, 50 SEK. What's SEK? Is that Swedish krona? I'm not sure. Someone tell me if that's Swedish krona in the chat. Been using Tret 0.025 for 6 weeks. No improvement on my acne. How long after should I generally see improvements? So Tret doesn't cure acne. Tret simply gives you vitamin A. Looking at acne, my personal view is the cure lies in diet, as with most medical problems, to be honest. Acne is multifactorial. Giving yourself vitamin A may help in some respects, but if you have a diet still full of lectins from plant material, and they're still causing, or going through the tight junction proteins in the gut and causing a load of issues, with your immune system, such that your skin breaks out and you get inflammation and things like that, you're never going to cure it, even if you have Tret, because you haven't actually gotten rid of the root cause, which is things like looking at, what lectins have you got in your diet. I mean, I made a video recently, one of my most recent videos on lectins. You can watch that to have a good understanding. But Tret is never a cure for acne. It's just a tool to help, that's all. So that's something, again, unless you're willing to change diet, you're never really going to cure the problem. In my view, the best you can hope for is to try and keep symptoms at bay to some extent. And that's really it, to be honest. Let's have a look. To our 28 from Colombia. Fantastic. Big audience. I know there's a few people, I think, from Florida. Everyone's in Florida. Everyone in the US that tunes into my stuff is always in Florida. And I found out last stream it was because they got rid of income taxes or something like that. And that's why Jeff Bezos moved there. I don't blame you. I wish the UK did that as well. Yeah, so nice to have you here, and everyone else who's inevitably from Florida as usual. Let's have a look. Where's the next comment? There we go. Shireen. Thoughts on Centella products for skin hydration? I've never heard of them, to be honest. But skin hydration doesn't come from a product. Skin hydration comes from the cells in your skin working properly. In fact, I've just recorded a video today on why hyaluronic acid is crap, basically. It will probably come out in a few weeks or so. If you watch that, you'll understand why skin hydration products in general are just a load of nonsense, frankly. You don't need them. I never use them. The patients that I have, which listen to me, they never use them. And guess what? None of us have dry skin. Now, if your skin feels dry, don't reach for a product. You reach for a question and ask, why is it dry in the first place? It's not a lack of product, because we didn't evolve with products, so it can't be because of that reason. But it's the perspective that you need, not whether a product is good or not. Microneedling just started. Can I use my star on the same day as well as Tret/testosterone cream? If your skin is red or inflamed, let's say from needling, you can use a Star Pro mask, but you want to use it on the recovery setting, not anti-aging, because you don't want red when the skin's already inflamed, because then you could make the inflammation potentially worse. And in fact, there is a video on my channel of a patient who I referred for LED with acne, with inflammation. She accidentally got given red light by someone, and the whole thing went much, much worse. Have a watch of that. You can use the Tret or test. Don't put the test on immediately after the needling. You don't want it to go into the body. You can put the Tret on if you really want to. That's not a problem. Ribeye Rob, just signed up for the free school membership pending. Ah, yes. Let me just approve these memberships, because remember, in about half an hour, this stream is going to end, and I am going to be carrying on the live stream on the school. I'm just approving a load of memberships right now. Again, it is free. You don't need your credit card or anything. You just enter and then you're in. And once you're in the top bar of the thing, you'll see it says calendar. And if you click on calendar, there'll be a thing for tonight for the live stream. There'll be one for YouTube, which is this, and there's one immediately after YouTube, which is the one we'll go to. And you just click the button and you'll start. And again, I'll go for as long as you guys have questions. Not a problem. Thanks for reminding me there, Rob. Hope you're well. Lyrit Olby. That's a really interesting name. Lyrit, if you're still watching, let me know where you're from. I'd love to know where that name's from. That sounds pretty cool. You said on your podcast the injector is more important than the products used. Absolutely. How can I tell if the injector is good? You as a member of the public, assuming that's what you are and you're not qualified to do it yourself, you can't. Unfortunately, you just can't. You'll never know. Sadly, you can look at all the qualifications in the world. You can look at how many certificates they've got on the wall. You can look at how many years they've been doing it. Honestly, it doesn't mean anything. I've seen people who are very experienced, but who, are that experienced, they're bored of the job now. So they don't put the effort in, and the work is slapdash. But I've seen people who are very inexperienced talk themselves up really well, but they don't have the experience to do it well, and vice versa. I've seen people who are very inexperienced, who are very keen to learn, and they do a fantastic job. I've seen people who have really been doing it for decades, and they love it just as much as the day they started, and they take as much time as they need, and they get better and better every year. So you can't know, sadly. I know that's not a nice answer to give, but it's true. You'll never know, unfortunately. You can potentially look at people who put their stuff online, and then that might give you an idea that if they're willing to put it online, they're happy with their technique and things. But even then, I've seen people put videos up online who just frankly don't know what they're talking about. And I'd be happy to debate them on it any time. So sadly, you just don't know. Sorry about that, but it's true. That's my genuine opinion. Let's put it that way. Laughing Lion. What are the best ways to get rid of and prevent fine lines under eyes? I'm only 28. What are you eating? First of all, that's the most important thing. Just approving more memberships for the school group here. First thing is, what are you eating? And based on that, we need to make certain changes to your diet, and then we can start to look at home care afterwards. If you're not eating right, it's not easy to get the perfect results. And just by the way, if you're watching, if you're in my paid school group, which is where everything is, all the proper full content, you don't need to go into the free group. there's a link in the paid group as well for you to click on, and you can have a look at that. So I have 2 school groups. One is free, one is paid. The paid just has way more in it. I can give more detailed answers to people, etc., etc. We've got way more live calls for way more topics. We're going to have guest people coming in as well, and guest experts, and talking about different things. I'm going to get people within the group to be a patient on a live call to help them with their problem while everyone else watches, that kind of stuff. That's not all going to be in the free group, but in the free group, I can at least give information and write stuff out for people, as better than nothing. Sebastian, are European and Korean sun creams better than American ones? I don't think there's such a thing as, it's better because it's from here or because it's from there. I think it's better because it's more compatible with you and it does the job better. So I don't think it matters where it's from. It matters what the ingredient list is. In fact, I've got a video coming soon about Korean skincare. That will be out again probably in a few weeks or so. Have a watch of that, and you'll understand the principle of what I'm saying, and that'll actually answer your question here as well. Let's have a look. There's no question there, so I don't know what to say. Let's go to the next one. Adam, I'm from Sofia, Bulgaria. Oh, very nice, sunny place. The offer cicost, how do you know if you're using it properly? You mentioned before that it's crucial. Unfortunately, you don't. If I was watching their technique, I can say yes or no. But obviously, yeah, I can't fly everywhere and watch everyone. The eyes are the most difficult one, Very rarely do people get it right around the eyes. I mean, some of my eye results have been incredible, and you can see it on my Instagram page. I think there's a few on YouTube, and I present the cases around the world. When people try it themselves, they don't get the same result because it's hit and miss. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And when I watch them do it, it's obvious why. Typically, they're injecting way too deep. Way, 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 way too deep. They don't realize how shallow or superficial it's meant to be. So you'll never know, unfortunately. But if you watch me do it, and there are videos on my channel of me doing just that, and you compare that to what they're doing, if it's the same, fine. Then they're absolutely fine. They're doing it correctly. Let's have a look here. Paula, if I'm doing a chemical peel once a month, why would you need to do that once a month? Do I also need to use exfoliating cleanser? Well, you don't need to do a chemical peel once a month. That's the thing. And no one needs an exfoliating cleanser daily at any time for any reason. So definitely not. And probably a no to the once a month chemical peel as well, to be honest. Obviously, I need to see the skin, but in general, I would say a no to both those things. Let's have a look. Mary, other than surgery, what do you recommend to tighten turkey neck? Peels, needling? It's always going to be a combination. There's no one treatment that is going to magically reverse your appearance. That's going to, turn back the clock 30 years. Even if you have plastic surgery, you might have a lift of some kind. Yes, you reposition the skin, you pull it higher, but the look of the skin is still the same. If it's riddled in wrinkles and photo damage and all that kind of stuff, it's still got photo damage. It's just positioned higher up. So are you actually going to look younger, or are you going to look like you've had a facelift to try and look younger? There's a big difference. So, it's always going to be a combination. You look at the skincare at home, you look at other treatments at home, like the needling, like the LED stuff, all that kind of stuff. You look at non-invasive things like injectables, see what you can do with that. And then you go more and more invasive over time. So you might look at something like a coring laser, like Ultra Clear, or what was the other one called? Ellacor. They're looking pretty good. And then if you get skin really good, look with those kind of things, and then you want to look at surgery, fine. But it's never going to be a single treatment, and don't fall for anyone that says it is a single treatment, because it's just not possible. Let's have a look. Mark Chappelle, how long will someone need to be on your $200 a month skin one-to-one to get all the info needed for themselves? Oh, good question. Can someone join for 1 month, get all the info needed, and then leave? Yeah, absolutely, of course. If I can give you everything you need to look after yourself in a month and you feel good and you're happy to leave, not a problem, my friend. The point of that program, so if you go to my main school group or my free school group, you'll see some links on the side of other stuff. So if you're in the free group, on the right-hand side, you'll see the links to the paid school group. I'm just going to approve some memberships here. But also you'll see links to the one-on-one sort of skincare supervision, which where I can actually give you an individual plan and we can work through it all. And if you're done in a month and your skin's great and you don't need me anymore, by all means, by all means. And that would be great for me. That's really, really useful because it shows that it works. And I'd love to use a testimonial if that works for you. Typically, when it comes to the, Coach Stephen's in the chat. Coach Stephen. Yeah, feel free to join us in the live stream afterwards, Steve, if you're there. Maybe we can throw some questions at you as well. So in the, what was I talking about? Yeah, so in the one-to-one program, typically the average patient is with me for about 6 months. That's it. So it will take us probably 3-4 months for us to actually get a grip on the skin, and then a couple months for them to just learn the maintenance, and then they're good. That's all they need after that. There will be people with severe conditions where maybe they're with me for a year and a half. That's happened. But then eventually when we get a grip on it and we go into maintenance and they understand how to maintain everything and stop it going back to where it was, they can leave. And that's it. They're good. You know, that program, you don't have to be in it forever. It's just until you feel happy to look after yourself, nothing else. So anytime. Of course, you can do 1 month, Mark, not a problem. By the way, in that one-to-one program, each person that joins, it's more expensive for the next person. And the reason for that is because there's only one of me and I can't see an unlimited number of people. So that methodology just caps it so that I'm able to actually get back to people without it being too much of an effort. That's all. Let's have a look here and carry on. Let's have a look. Would the 101 200 be simply you telling us to go Carnivore and use a test cream and Squalene and Tret? No, I mean, we have a lot of patients who have major conditions. So typically we'll also liaise sometimes with their general doctor. If they've got blood tests coming up and something is off, then we can have a look at that. We might plan in some supplements for them, things like that as well. The test isn't right for everyone, you know. Typically I don't do that for anyone with a skin problem, because if you have a skin problem, the test cream isn't for you at all. Squalene, again, that's not needed because typically if you've got a problem and you're looking at something like, you know, acne, last thing you want is too much oil on the skin in some situations, so we won't use that. Tretinoin, we might, but if someone has got a severe condition and they're very inflamed, again, last thing we want is the inflammation to get worse by using tretinoin. So we'll build things up. Sometimes we'll use something completely different, and then by the time it gets to 6 months down the line, the routine changes again because we have to adapt to where the skin is and where the healing is up to that point. So it's very individual, and with that group, you can see how everyone else is working as well. So you can see that it's entirely different for everyone. But good question. Let's have a look. Where are we? I forgot where are we up to on the chat. Laurie, what are your thoughts on cicost cell 15 for cellulite? How does it work exactly? It does work. I mean, in quite a few situations, I've had it halve the cellulite in one sitting. If it's extremely severe, it might be a lot more time, a lot more treatments, maybe 2, maybe 3, but it depends. And it works. I mean, essentially, it's the extracellular matrix that it's rejuvenating. There is a video on my channel. I think it's called like Advanced Anti-Aging Collagen Lecture or something like that. It's about 3 hours, and it properly goes into depth on how it actually works. The fact that video is 3 hours tells you I can't compress that into one 30-second answer here, unfortunately. But it is out there. It's on my channel. It's free. Anyone can go and have a look. Let me just approve some more memberships in the school group. Glad to see you're all getting into the school group. The link is in the description if you want to join the live stream afterwards, which will start in about 20 minutes. And again, that is going to go for as long as you guys have questions. There's no set time limit on that. But get into that group now if you want to carry on with the live stream afterwards. Let's have a look. What's the best way to help with shallow but wide box scars? Apparently the edges never really completely blend in. Is excision the only way? I don't think excision is the only way. I think excision may be... I think you mean subcision, by the way, not excision. Excision is where you cut something out of the skin. Subcision is where you go underneath the skin and you break up the tethering. Subcision is one option. Nowadays, you can also look at things like lasers in certain situations. It depends on the scar type. I haven't seen it, but there are other options. Some people might look at microneedling. They're kind of probably the 3 most commonly looked at treatments for it. But again, it does depend on the actual scar. The biggest problem with scars typically is not understanding what type of scar it is. And so you don't pick the right treatment for that particular diagnosis, which is really crucial. It sounds simple, yes, get the diagnosis right, but it's unfortunately not that simple. if you've taught as many doctors as I have. Let's have a look. Ven, how you doing, friend? Good to see you again. Became so popular recently. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very happy for you. Well deserved for all your great work. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Let's have a look. Here's a nice one. How long into NAD subcutaneous, 1 gram, should one notice a change in general well-being? It depends. You know, sometimes you'll never notice it because you're still having a lot of coffee. I'm not saying you do, but just as an example, it really depends on the individual. And my paid school group, which has everything in it, this is an advert, but just to tell you, I did a course on NAD+. It's an in-person, 1 day long, full day course. Now, in my paid school group, that entire course, which is recorded, is in there. And it's a day to understand how to use NAD. So just understand that it's a day for even professionals to learn how to use it. So to answer that question in 30 seconds when it takes a day for even the professionals is practically impossible. But watch that. I promise you, if you're in that paid school group, you get to, on the top, you click Classroom, and the NAD course is there. If you watch that, it's not just about understanding NAD, it's about what causes a depletion of NAD, i.e. aging and metabolic dysfunction. If you watch that and really understand it, your whole life will change. And that's not, that's not just my words. Like the people that came on the course said that to me. Some of them are in this chat. I've seen the thingy. I've seen the names come up, and they're in the school group as well that are there. I think I don't want to say names in case they want to keep it private. But there are people who have done the course in person in the school group, and they'll never look at their health in the same way ever again. So if you want to go to the paid school group, and there's a link in the free group to the paid one on the right-hand side, you've got that course all included. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. It's all there. So have a look, and just watch it. Pay attention. Take notes if you have to. Do whatever you need. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Let's have a look. Jen, what do you recommend for a facial scar? Enlarged life that I had cut twice. What's an enlarged life? I don't know what that means. I'd need to see it, unfortunately. I've no idea, sadly. Can't tell without looking at it. Just had a comment here. I've got a couple different screens, so I might look here and there. Once Weekman says, we'll be running another NAD course in the future. I've got one in Manchester coming up in about 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Yeah, about 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks. I can't remember now. I don't have any more plans after that. I probably won't, because the full course is in my school group, my paid school group, and you can watch the entire thing for no extra cost. So it's not really worth it for people to pay and come in person when they can just do it in the comfort of their own home with that school group. The link in the description, by the way, is for the free group, which is where this stream is going to carry on. If you're in the paid group already, you don't need to join the free group. Just stay in the paid one, and you can click the calendar link and join in the live stream after this as well. Looking to add volume deficit in my bum with Lanluma. Can cicost give me similar results? Nope. To add volume, cicost is not a filler. It doesn't increase volume at all. So no, it's completely different. That's just for the skin. It's not for the fat under the skin to get bigger. Sebastian, what's the best way to get rid of nasolabial folds? I've heard people say fill in the upper cheek to lift, but that's rubbish, and injecting into the fold gives you the round face look. So how? You can lift, so you can inject the upper cheek, because sometimes the fold is because the cheek volume has been lost, so it's come down and it looks bigger. So without seeing your individual face, it's actually impossible to say, but you can very easily inject the cheek and it will look fantastic. In fact, in my most recent podcast episode with Dr. Aaron Carwal in there, you can see that he's done that on video live, and it looks great. So it's not that it's rubbish at all. People all over the world do it, and they look brilliant. Let me just approve a few of these more school memberships. Let's have a look. There we go. So Are you still doing your HA masterclass on the 12th of Jan? I am. So I've got a course. What's the date today? 4th, so next Sunday. Doing a one-day course on hyaluronic acid. Everything to do with hyaluronic acid within reason. And if you want to see some details, if you go to my website, drabs.clinic, and just click on courses at the top and scroll down, you'll see the hyaluronic acid one. It's going to be pretty scientific. So if you're after something very layman friendly, yes, there are going to be layman terms, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's people who really want to go deep in on the science, to be honest. Jay, well, happy New Year. Thank you. You too. Just a quick question. Struggling to get good zinc and magnesium. What do you use? I mean, I don't use any. I just eat meat. But if you're going to use one, have a look at something like, for instance, let's say zinc glycinate, magnesium bisglycinate, things like that, or zinc citrate, magnesium citrate. They're absolutely fine. In fact, the electrolytes that I've got here, Keto Pro cherry flavor, that's got the citrate forms in. And I did an episode of my podcast recently, which isn't out yet, but it's recorded, where we specifically just talked about these micronutrients like magnesium and zinc and calcium and things like that. So keep an eye out for that. That's probably going to give you a good, deep, long answer. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and get through questions from people that haven't asked one before, just so that everyone gets a chance to ask something. So 15 minutes, we'll head over to the free school group. I don't think I can share my screen for this, but I can see you guys are joining the group because I've got it on this screen here. Let's have a look. Let me get that back. So let's get to this question here. What will you recommend for mole removal? I'll recommend getting a pair of eyes on it, to be honest, because if you think it's a mole, but then someone sees it and they think actually it's something benign, or malignant, you've got a completely different treatment plan. So I would simply get it seen by someone and then go from there. It's not something to get carried away with by getting advice on the internet. Please see someone in person, like any dermatologist, GP that can refer you, something along those lines. Alina, greetings from Africa. Whereabouts in Africa, Alina? I'd love to know. Please type it in the comments if you can. Let's have a look. What can you recommend for light sensitivity? That's a tricky one. Do you mean like in the eyes? Like you've got photosensitivity in the eyes and there's something wrong with the eyes, in which case see an optometrist? Or do you mean that you sunburn easily or something along those lines and your skin is very sensitive? I don't know which one you mean. So it's a bit more, it's very tricky to, almost impossible if actually to give an answer to that question. Let's have a look. Nick, can I just wash my SPF with water? You can, and if it comes off, great. If it doesn't, obviously then look to use a cleanser or something like that. That's not a problem. Use the most gentle thing that you can as a general rule is what I say to my patients. So if water gets rid of what you need to get rid of, just stick with that. If you've got to use something a little bit more powerful, like maybe a CeraVe gentle cleanser or something like that, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. How injective is plasma injection for back of hands? I'm guessing you mean PRP. I'm sure it will give you some relative result. Is it long lasting though? That's a different thing. I personally don't believe it's that long lasting. And if I was treating someone's back of the hands, I use multiple things altogether. We'll look at home care like skincare. We might look at injectables in the clinic. We might look at laser therapy. We might even look at filler quite a few times, not a problem. And we combine everything to actually give them the result that they want. Because you don't go to a clinic for a treatment, you go to a clinic for a result. And quite a lot of time, those results require more than one thing over a period of time to get you what you want. So don't think that, this one magic treatment is going to do it for me. It's rarely the case, I think. Sharon, good to hear from you again. Thank you for chiming back in. I didn't know you were in New Zealand. That's, yeah, good morning. Hope you're well. Seems as though Star Pro Mask is no longer able to be shipped to the USA, even on Cosmetier. Do you know if it's available for the USA soon? I think you can get it in the USA because I spoke to a patient of mine, I think yesterday morning or day before yesterday morning, and they just got it delivered in the USA. I can't remember which city they were in. So it's possible. And I think you just need to keep looking for the right place. I'm not sure who exactly sells it there, but it might even be worth it. If you find someone that does ship to different countries, even if it's not USA, send them an email and then just say, hey, how much would it cost for you to send it to me here? Or if you know someone in the UK, get them to buy it and then send it over to you if possible. King One, if I get sent across my under eye with Dr. Pratish, who's great, by the way, drpratish.co.uk or .com, I can't remember which. He's a doctor in London. He's very good at Sunacos. I would trust him to do my own. How often would I need to get a top up? That's dependent on you. I mean, if you wanted to get it every 2 weeks for the rest of your life, that's fine. There's no risk. Obviously, it'll cost a lot, but there's no risk. But if you can only afford every 6 months, do every 6 months. Do what you can afford. That's the best way to look at it. Super chat from Welcome to the Half. Thank you very much. $3. Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's carry on. So we've got 9 minutes or 10 minutes to round it. And a quick reminder, after the 10 minutes, we're going to go to the school group, which is here. The link is in the description to the live stream. It's free. You don't have to pay anything, but I'm doing it because in the school group, I can also make posts and give deeper answers. I can provide links to things, as I say, which I can't really do on here. So 10 minutes time, we'll move over to that. And hopefully I'll see as many of you as possible over there. And I'll go for as long as is needed until we answer all your questions. Let's have a look. Sarah, thoughts on Dr. Pen, please, from microneedling? Good question. I'll tell you what. I recently made, I recorded a video today, specifically, where's my mouse gone? Oh, it's happened again. I've lost my mouse. Specifically about Dermarollers versus microneedling pens. That will probably be out, I think, in a few weeks or so. Have a watch of that, and that will give you my thoughts on it. And you'll be hopefully very well educated afterwards to make the right decision on what to use. But typically, you don't need a pen. I don't think people need to worry too much about those sorts of things. Let's have a look. Best treatment for fine lines around the eyes. Depends on the person. I don't think, again, there's a single one magic bullet treatment that you just do and then everything improves. What you would need to do is a combination of things. So again, you would look at home care and in-office care, depending on where you are. Home care can be like the skincare, the LED, all that kind of stuff. And then in-office can be injectables, it can be lasers, all sorts of things. So don't ever feel as though it's got to be one particular thing. Don't fall for that. Can dermarolling and red light therapy tighten up very slightly loose skin? Yeah, it can. As to how much, depends on where you're starting from, how good your technique is, how good the red light therapy device is, how much energy it's putting into the skin, etc., etc. It's possible. It's possible. As to the extent, you would need way more information, and you would also need to see the skin. You would need to see the medication. You would need to see the diet, etc., etc. There's a lot going on there, but it's possible. It's possible. Safa, do you have any suggestions for what health issues could be the root cause of melasma? Well, I don't think anyone knows the exact root cause of melasma, but I will say this much. Patients of mine that, we completely overhauled the diet, before we even gotten to skincare, the melasma improves by itself without even doing anything direct to the skin. So I think, personally, diet is a massive factor. I'm not going to say it's a cause because I can't prove that, but I believe it's one of the biggest factors, if not the biggest factors, judging by my clinical experience of changing the diet and the melasma working away by itself. But, no one's done a study on it because it's impossible to do a study on diet, to be honest. But that's what I think anyway. Nick Shazrin, what foods that cause acne? I mean, I think different things will have different effects on different people and to different extents. But personally, I believe lectins are going to be a key culprit. I'm not going to say the culprit, but I personally believe they're pretty influential, shall we say. And when I have patients that take out lectins in the diet completely, surprise, surprise, their skin goes incredible. I did a video on lectins probably, I reckon, a few weeks ago, something like that. If you go on my channel, it's probably within the last 10 to 15 videos about lectins. And you can see me explain what they are, how they cause damage, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully you'll learn something new from that. I can see a lot of you are joining the free school group. Good to see. And we are going to switch there in about 5 minutes-ish. So if you're not in there, the link is in the description, free, as it says in this little information in the screen here. And we'll go there. So once you're in the school group, if you look at the top, there's a button that says calendar. If you press calendar, you'll find the live stream link. There's two there. The first one is for YouTube, which is this, which you obviously don't need because you're here already. The one underneath that is the live stream for after YouTube. Just click it and you'll be taken there straight away. Not a problem. So we're going to go through the last few questions before we switch over there. And we're going to switch over there until all your questions are answered. Again, like we'll keep going for as long as we need. So if I haven't answered your question here, copy it and then paste it into that live stream, which is about to start in a few minutes' time, because these won't transfer over, unfortunately, but I will answer them over there if you're still there. Let's have a look. Let's go and go for someone who hasn't had a chance to answer a question yet. Here's an interesting question. Monica from Brazil. Hello to Brazil. Hope you're well. Fala português? Let me know in the chat. Fala pouco. Falo mais espanhol do que português. Have you seen the facial harmonization craze here in Brazil? I haven't seen it, but I can probably guess what it is. Only using hyaluronic acid and getting beautiful results. I mean, you can get beautiful results, but what's the effect of that on the biology of the skin? What's the long-term effects? How is that filler going to change over time, assuming it's filler, etc., etc.? So you can look great in many treatments immediately, but what's it going to do afterwards? What's it going to look like in a few weeks, in a few months, in a few years, because of the way it's interacting with the receptors on your cells? So when you have filler, a lot of fillers may look good straight away, but then if they cause issues down the line and they start to swell, they start to cause autoimmune conditions, if they start to really react with the body, it doesn't matter whether you look great on the day, you hate that filler now because it's just causing so many problems afterwards. So looking good straight away is not the be all and end all of everything. It's not the end goal. It's to look good now and into the future. But I'd be interested to see what that is. Hopefully I can visit Brazil one day. I'd love to go. It's in my top 3 favorite countries, along with Lebanon and Germany. Yeah, I really would love to go. But had a couple of things here. Okay, let's just check some of the comments. Fine. So I think we're about the end of 1 hour here. So we're going to switch over to the school. So if you haven't already and you want to carry on this live stream for unlimited amount of time, I'm not going to do it just for an hour, just until your questions have been answered, basically. Or go to the link in the description, join the school group. It's free, and I'm going to carry on there. Again, once you're in the school group, go to calendar at the top, and then find the live stream link for the school live stream. And you don't need any special software. You just click the link and you're in. All you need is a browser to watch, just like you're watching YouTube now, and that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and we are going to switch over to that right now. So I will see you there in about 2 minutes time.